fuck out of here. You don't need this. We don't need a history lesson on the Pokemon franchise every Pokemon related video, okay? We know what Pokemon is, okay? Everybody knows. I mostly play the main series Pokemon games, obviously, and I almost never play the spin-off Pokemon games. I played Pokemon Go, obviously, and I've played some of Pokemon Ranger when I was a kid, but I only remember them from that one episode of the anime, and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon
Watching
was
Dan and Phil hard
really
launch.
in my
Pause.
interest. I was going to talk about Legends Arceus in this video, but it turns out that's a main series game, so I'm gonna save it for another day. So 2 years ago, I did make a video about Pokemon Battle Revolution, another Pokemon spin-off. That video sucks, don't watch it. Pokemon Battle Revolution is a Gen 4 battle simulator. And that's it. It's a game where you only point the Wii Remote at the screen for hours. Do you want one muscly arm? Because that's what you're gonna get with this game. There's no exploration even though Colosseum and XD exist on the GameCube already. And they're playable on the Wii, so why do we have to navigate through menus until our arm goes numb? The only redeeming quality is that you can move your own Pokemon from the Gen 4 Pokemon games, but Pokemon Stadium already did that, but the battling is just boring. And I end up falling asleep every time I try to play it. It was fun when I was a kid and I played it a lot, but now it's only good as a shelf piece. This next one isn't really a game per se, but Pokédex 3DS Pro is straight up a Gen 5 Pokédex, like legit.
You now have the ability to view over 640 Pokémon in beautiful 3D graphics.
Pokédex toys did exist at the time, but they were made by companies like Tiger Electronics, so they weren't exactly detailed. Yeah, nowadays we have free iPhone Pokédex apps, Bulbapedia, or books if you're a nerd. But yeah, this is a legit Pokédex made by Nintendo and Game Freak. Only for Gens 1 through 5 though. There's only 647 in total Pokédex entries, and that's including alternate forms if the Pokemon has them. Including all of the unknown forms.
Unknown C, Unknown D, Unknown E, Unknown F, Unknown G.
And this was an era of Pokemon where they didn't serve everyone up 5 courses of DLC stew, so there was no Pokemon past Gen 5. And yeah, to be honest, I wasn't expecting there to be DLC anyway, because this was right after the Wii and DSi eras. A time where updates and patches and everything to do were not a thing, because the games were practically finished, and the mystery gifts were built into the games anyway. So we didn't need a million updates to make the game perform as well as I do in bed. If they wanted to do another Pokédex app featuring the Gen 6 Pokemon, they would have just copied and pasted the original models and charged another $15 for another pointless app that's already programmed into the game, with no updates. Like, these games also didn't really have DLC either. I know that's a hypothetical situation, but for example, the Smash Brothers DLCs being made free in the next game, it doesn't give me hope for what Nintendo would have done for this. But anyway, since it's a Pokédex, it has a voice. And that voice being Mark Thompson, who has been part of the Pokemon series since the Johto arc of the original anime. And he's obviously the voice of the Unova Pokédex in the anime.
Zebstrika, the Thunderbolt Pokemon, and the evolved form of Blitzel.
Samurott, the formidable Pokemon, and the final evolved form of Oshawott. Simipour, the geyser Pokemon, and the evolved form of Panpour.
Drillbur, Conkeldurr, Timpool.
Oh, that's how you pronounce it. Unfortunately, he doesn't read the entry like in the anime, so it kind of sucks. 0 out of 10. You can also change the languages very easily in the settings, so you can learn how to pronounce Pokemon names in German if you want. I mean, I did say earlier that it wasn't a game, but that's not entirely true. There's Pokemon Challenge. It's just various Pokemon multiple choice questions like, who's this Pokemon? Who's this Pokemon but Pokédex entries? And guess the unknown forms. It is actually really fun at times and does test your Pokemon knowledge. There's also a whole Gen 5 move dex, as well as a list of every Pokemon that can know said move. AR Viewer is exactly like the AR cards that came with every 3DS, but with Pokemon instead. Scan one of the codes and it spawns a really small 3D model, and it's kind of garbage. I bought this right before the eShop closed. So yeah, you can't actually buy this anymore. And I'm glad I own a piece of Pokemon history though. We're all just a bunch of suckers, aren't we? But where did that suckage start? Pokemania was all the rage in the 90s. You couldn't escape it. People didn't know what to make of Pokemon back then. It was out of control.
It's Pokemania everywhere, from Burger King to the king of internet retailing.
If you guys don't know what Pokemon is, well, you're in need of some serious remedial toy education.
Looking back at these news reports and B-roll footage of people back in 1999, they really had no idea how big this actually was going to be.
This could be this year's Christmas boom.
But some experts say the entire Pokemon phenomenon is the enemy.
In my opinion, parents should not let their kids watch Pokemon, play Pokemon, buy Pokemon cards.
And even parents were put in front of cameras and asked to explain what Pokemon was and had absolutely no idea.
Can you explain Pokemon to me?
Very vaguely. They have Powerballs, that's all I know.
If it sounds like the kids are speaking another language, they are. The language of Pokemon.
Pocket Monster, the spiral. And it stands for what? Male fertility.
But these parents are actually pretty cool.
Christina Levy spent $1,000 last month on Pokemon. Her kids call her Pokemom.
It's a really social game, socially interacts with all the kids in the neighborhood. So as opposed to sitting in front of a television watching cartoons, he's interacting with kids. So I really am a fan of the game.
And schools were just banning Pokemon cards because they thought that this was the equivalent of spending your life savings at a Vegas craps table.
I don't have anything against them, I just don't want them to, distract us from what our job here is.
School officials are finding that Pokemon cards are responsible for fistfights.
Oh, okay, well that's actually a reason. But soon enough, a game was released that deleted the need to collect Pokemon cards physically. Pokemon Trading Card Game. The game. For the Game Boy.
Girls can play this. Why can't it be called Game Boy Girl?
This game solely exists as an excuse for parents so they don't have to spend thousands of their own dollars on cardboard rectangles and binders. And now that I'm an adult, that seems pretty smart, actually. It's actually a free-roaming 8-bit style game, sort of like Red and Blue, but the walking animation stops halfway through. And since it's sort of a spin-off, it's not as well made. They didn't really put as much oomph into this one as they would a main series game. But it has an 8-badge system while you actively run into your rival that's always one step ahead of you. Then you go and beat a Pokemon League at the end. Yeah, it's the same formula technically as the games that it's spinning off, but instead of catching Pokemon and using them in turn-based battles, you play the actual Pokemon trading card game. And it actively teaches you how to play the most basic form of the Pokemon TCG from the first generation. It tells you what you can and can't play so you can't cheat. And you can actually go in any order of the gym that you want with things that you have to do before you can challenge the gym sometimes, like having to beat 3 other NPCs in order for them to dox the location of the gym leader. And after you beat an NPC, you're actually rewarded with packs of cards from sets of the time. There's base set, jungle, and fossil expansions all within the game. And I'm definitely going to keep playing this one. Since it's on the Switch now, I can finally finish it on my own time. And I recommend it if you want to learn how to actually play the game for yourself. And yes, I have unopened packs of cards, okay? Here's my Obsidian Flames pack. Let's see, this has been in my collection for a while. I know it's one of the newer sets, but it has been in here for a while. I haven't really thought about opening it until a Pokemon related video.
You can tell which grunt treats their Pokemon well. The one... Because Dustox, to get Dustox, technically it's more of an abused Weedle. Not Weedle. Because to get Dustox, you have to, like, mistreat your Wurmple. And to get Beautyfly, it's more like you love your Weedle. And to get Beautyfly, you have to like care for your Wurmple. So oh shit. Alright. Oof. I'm not really feeling it today. Really putting down. So it's that one. Meowth. Okay.